move up the rankings, dominate locally, book more moving jobs, and make more money for your moving company. This is Thomas here. I just am fresh out of the shower. So I have a really important video for you. This video is all about how to write your About Us page for your moving company. This is actually the second most visited page on your website. So it's really important that you get this correctly. So the first thing is, you got to keep in mind this page is really should be really written for your customers mind, and it shouldn't be for you, it should be for your customers. You should be able to explain how your business is the right one for them, and don't make this page about you, make it a little bit more about them. That's the number one key here. So I've taken some notes and I want to go over some of these things that you should put on your website. So the first thing you'll need is obviously not this. You'll need really good team photos. This is just a template that I am working with right now. So get really good team photos. Show people who you are, right? Show them that you're a real person, because honestly, today is November 20th, 2025. Everybody's just tired of all the slob that is AI, we're all tired of all that stuff, right? And I don't know if this is how you feel. This is how I feel. I don't like AI generated things. I don't like all these corporate, like the Amazons and the Walmarts of the world. We like, people like buying from other people, right? People like buying from people that remind them of themselves, that they trust, right? So the most important thing that you're going to do on this page is also demonstrate your core beliefs and core values, right? People want to know why you're in business, right? So this is the first header, and this is the most important thing you have to do, which is to explain why you do what you do, right? Everybody has a different reason. So explain your reason, right? We all have a different reason why we got into this whole moving game, and I just want you to communicate that. Don't make this about anything other than you and the customer. So the first thing you need to do is explain why you do what you do. This is going to draw that emotional connection. Um, and this is what people like, right? This is how brands are built. This is how people establish relationships and connections to people, right? Why you do what you do. So figure out why you do what you do. If you need help, put a comment below, and I'll be happy to help you go over this and figure out what your reason is. So after you do that, um one really important thing is also go into like your core values, right? Again, like I was mentioning, you want to say you want to this is how people just establish trust with each other, right? People are going to want to buy from other people that resemble themselves and remind them of themselves, right? So figure out what your core values are. This is what makes you different from all the other moving companies, right? You're not just another person that just puts boxes into a truck, right? You may be at this point, right? But you want to demonstrate that you aren't, right? Pick different reasons, different things that you believe in, core values, things that are important to you and your customers, right? And how you treat your customers, and display that, talk about it, right? So I am really big in integrity. I don't, I one of the reasons why I got into this is there's been a lot of reasons, right? But one of the most important things right now is I hate it when I'm dealing with people in the real world that aren't honest, and they're dishonest, right? So I want to change that. I want to be, and a lot of moving companies get that bad rep, right? They're just out here, you know, doing whatever they're doing, just lying, giving people quotes and then changing it up last minute. I don't really like any of that. So I mentioned that, right? I don't stand with it. I don't believe in it, right? These are my core values. I believe in honesty, right? I believe that your word is your word, and you say what you say, you should honor that, right? Um and I want to put that like front and center, let people know this is who I am, this is what I'm about. And if you like it, cool. And if you don't, it's fine. I may not want to work with you, right? Why would I want to work with dishonest people? So this is what I stand for. This is what I'm going to back myself with, right? This is what I believe in, and I want to let people know that, right? So put your core values out there. If you need any help, again, comment below, and I'll be happy to jump on a call and we could discuss these things with you. um the second thing you want to talk about after you do all that, right, um is this is a little blurb, right? And this kind of explains why, like how I became an expert at what I do, right? So I mentioned I have 7 years in the industry, whatever, right? And there's a story of how I became an expert, right? So this, doing storytelling and you telling a story. My story is I started by I helped my sister move in for college when she was going to school, right? So that's how it's not how I started this whole thing. It's just that was an event in my life, and I had realized, whoa, this is a cool thing. I enjoy this type of work. And, that's one of the origin stories, right? It's such a beautiful story that I tell sometimes. I don't always tell it, but when I put it out there and people, I've had clients like read this stuff and they bring it up to me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you used to help your sister." And some of them would be have brothers that help them, right? And they would remind them I would remind them of their own family and brother who helped them, right? And it's like it's just a beautiful experience, right? And those people, I love those types of clients because I feel like I am just reliving that moment, and it's part of why I do what I do is just to help, right? I helped a family member, and this is why I'm here, right? Hence the name Brotherly Movers. I love the name. May change it, but anyways, um, so explain how you became an expert, right? So I kind of go over that. I explain that I've done a lot of moving jobs. I've worked on a lot of different apps. I was a furniture builder. And after you explain how you became an expert, you want to go and talk about how you can help your clients, right? So, there's a whole story here, and I'll go over the more details of it. But the next thing you want to do is just describe how you can help them, right? So, for me, I just say I'm just trying to be out here making your moving day for my clients as less stressful as possible, right? That's how I'm going to be able to help. I'm just going to make it less stressful. I can go into more details, right? But I give some stats about, 82% of Americans who moved in 2024 said it was stressful. 78% experienced unexpected costs. 39% say moving made their financial situation worse. 73% think moving companies overcharge, right? So, how do I make it less stressful? Like, how can I help my clients? I want to be upfront with my pricing, right? So whatever price I give you before we agree to work with each other, you don't get hit with an unexpected charge, right? You don't get upcharged and things like that. That makes your experience a lot better and less stressful, right? So that is how I make that's how I make a difference, and this is how I help my clients. You can explain in your own way how you help your clients, right? Because maybe for you, you like protect all their furniture, really, like you treat their things like their things like your own, and that's how you make a difference, and that's how you help your clients. Maybe you do something completely different. Who knows what you do, right? Maybe you I don't know what you do, right? Maybe you have kids and you know how to pack like toys, right? And you can make your client's day a lot less stressful because you can help them pack their toys. I don't know. Just you got to sit down and figure out how you can help your clients. And if you need help brainstorming this, I'll be happy to talk to you. I'm just happy to help. So how can you help your clients basically? So after you get that, there's one thing that I didn't put in onto this page, and I will, like, throw more testimonials, right? You put testimonials here. This is going to be really helpful if you put testimonials here. Testimonials anywhere just help, right? Just having that social proof, people seeing that other people trust you, it just helps them feel like they could trust you as well. So testimonials in as many places as you can. I personally, you don't want to bombard them, but a little bit of testimonial here and there every now and then, it helps, right? It just shows, okay, this person is trusted, right? Trustworthy and trusted by other people. So put that there, right? You could put, like I mentioned, statistics, or your own personal statistics. Like for me, it was 7 years in the industry. You can say, I can say 1,000 moves completed, 10,000 boxes moved, whatever. Throw some stats, right, to back up yourself, right? So, like I mentioned earlier, put a photo of you here, put a photo of your team, show them that you're real people. People want to work with real people, right? They don't want to work with another app, right? Some people do. Some people might not care, right? And they just book an app, right? But the moving process is a really stressful situation. You kind of want a person, right? You want to know that the people you are going to hire are not going to like that you can trust, right? And you don't want a robot. You don't want to talk to a chat bot. You don't want to talk to AI, right? Kind of need a human, right? Anything that has human emotions, it's better to deal with a human, right? Because humans can like we help each other, right? So that's that. Put a real, photo of yourself, your team. Um, let's see, what else do I have here? Took some notes. So, again, just think of this page as, you know, think about it in the eyes of your potential client, right? Don't really talk about yourself, but talk about like how you can help them. Talk about what they will get, right? I know it sounds funny because it's like, oh, it's about us, right? But make it more about them, 80%, and obviously 20% of it can be about you. You could brag a little bit, talk about some of the things that you've done. That's cool. We like that. All right. So again, we're gonna go over some of these other things that I've taken notes on. Right. So connection and beliefs, right? Values, right? So there was a study by this person named Eldman, and they surveyed 36,000 people, and 58% of them actually said that they chose, they made decisions based on values, right? So more than half of the people surveyed picked, made a decision based on what the other person believed in, basically, right? So even if you believe something really ridiculous, just state it, right? Because somebody else may believe that and they're going to choose you because of your belief, right? You can believe the sky is red, right? And you can say it, and if another person really believes it, you know, you have a common belief, right? But it's really more common values, right? So explain your values essentially. Another, let's see what else I have here. Yeah, so basically, um yeah, just avoid talking about we. I know I do that a lot, we, but make it about them, right? So make it about something that they're gonna get, even if you're gonna say we do all this stuff, right? um make it about them, like let them get something out of it. I know I'm just contradicting myself because there are we's everywhere, right? But it's we are helping you, right? It's not we are so cool, we are great, we are the best. No, it's we're helping you, we're helping you, we're helping you. This is what we believe in, right? Not we, like this, so just keep that in mind. I know I probably like contradicted myself. So, but that's what it really means, right? We are helping you, basically, not what we are like what we're gonna get, whatever. All right. So, storytelling, right? So, there was another survey, and they say that storytelling is 22 times more memorable than facts alone, right? So, tell the story, like, over here, I tell the story about helping my sister. I tell the story about how I am a furniture builder. Like I'm trying to tell the story. I was going to tell the story about how I used to, when I was really doing this and I was really hustling, I would camp out at like the U-Haul store and see if anybody needed moving help, right? And I would just help them load up their U-Haul trucks, right? That's another story, right? Tell all the stories that you can possibly tell. Because storytelling is what people remember you by, right? Like you want to be remembered for something, so storytelling. um talk about yourself, talk about people, right? People, it's like a character, right? It's I helped my sister, I stood in front of the U-Haul store, I built furniture, right? I like there's a story, there's an I'm a person, right? It's not, you know what I mean? Personalize it. So talk about somebody, talk about yourself, right? How you started, things of that nature. You can also talk about a conflict, right? Conflicts are really, really good. This is, I remember watching like this master class. It was from this director, and it was all about like how to write a good story. And basically, he said you start with the conflict, like just start with the conflict, right? Like it's just like on the way, I was on the way to school, and like a cat, like I don't know, like a car hit me, or I don't know, just there needs to be a conflict, there needs to be something that happens, it can't just be boring, right? Like you're trying to get something done and something happens, conflict, problems, basically problems, right? People, this is just like our how our brains work, right? We, any without the conflicts, there's really no story, right? But we need conflict because then you can finish the story, right? You can close off the story, and people like that. People, that's how people get hooked. So conflict, right? What problem existed that you saw, and how you're trying to fix it, right? So the conflict that I had was, oh, I saw there was a huge problem in the marketplace. A lot of people were getting scammed by moving companies. People were, losing their stuff. Things were falling off the truck. People, all types of stuff, right? I could probably write a better story, but have some kind of conflict, right? Also mentioned the passion of you, right? Like your passion, right? Like just, this is stuff that people like to hear, people like to feel, right? So for me, I mentioned my passion is that, it bothers me when somebody is truly unhappy with the service they receive, right? That's one of my passions, is just in comforting other people on their moving day. It's one of the real reasons why I really like what I do. And I, sometimes when I hate what I do, I have to remind myself, why do I like this? It's, I like being that source of comfort for another person. Somebody's feeling stressed, right? And I get to help them relieve that stress, right? It makes me feel pretty good. It makes me feel like I'm useful. I'm doing something, right? So that's one of my passions, is just being that that light, essentially. Um, and yeah, talk about the resolution or the impact, right? How you're gonna make a difference. So I just kind of went through that, right? It's just, I want to be somebody that you, because moving is a very stressful event in somebody's life. I just want to help relieve that stress for other people. That's why I do what I do. There are days when I hate doing what I do, right? What I do. I don't know why I said that, but there are days when I hate what I do, and I have to remind myself, oh, I really like helping people. So talk about that. Talk about the resolution. Talk about your roadmap, your vision, where you're going next, right? People want to know that you're going somewhere, right? That this is going somewhere. It just helps them, like, oh my God, I get to support this small business that's, maybe in this stage right now. And, they have plans to take it in another direction. So people want to do that. People want to support. I remember when I got a car detailer, right? And somebody came to detail my van, and he told me one time how he really wanted to move into a garage, right? And I really support that, right? He's driving his van out to his clients, and he's cleaning cars on the street, right? And he wanted to get a personal garage, and I really like that, right? I like that he told me that, because then it made me always want to book with him again and hit him up, and you know support his business, right? So people really like that you have ambition, that you're going somewhere. And a lot of the times, the right customers don't mind supporting a business like that are on good ethics, and are have a plan for the future. So talk about your roadmap. You could also put like this. Yeah, there's another thing where you could put quotes of yourself, right? So people want to hear the voice of your brand, so they want to see your face, right? But you can also put a quote from yourself personally. That's what I'm going to do as soon as I get off this video. Put a quote from you, from the owner, from the movers, right? Like, put a voice to the brand, so it's not just brotherly movers. Like, who are they, right? They need to have photos. These are real people. These are what they believe in. People like that. People like, I didn't do this for so long, but I had such a really great, client base, that they were just repeatable clients over and over and over. I've helped people move, like I've helped people, when they've moved to New York, I've helped them move to each of their next apartment and all the different stages of their lives, right? Like, it's because, like, they really liked me when they first met me, right? And you know I stood for something, and they knew what it was, and they liked it, and they come back for that reason. That's the truth. If I start changing up and I become a different person, I'm pretty sure I would lose a lot of people, right? Because you're different now, right? So figure out your values. That's important. So you could put a dialogue, not a dialogue, a quote, your own personal quote. Put it there. Just give more words to your brand, just more of ideas to your brand, right? Just a voice, basically. And finally, the last thing to put on your page is just like let people know where you are in the world, right? What you do. It's just important. Some people don't even look through any of this, right? So they just want to know where you operate, what you do, and put that on the page because that is going to summarize what you do basically about us. So if you have any questions, let me know. Leave a comment. If you need help writing your about page, I'll be happy to help. Thanks so much for watching.